In football, it's often said that just 3 or 4 plays can define an entire game, and in the 111th Grey Cup, that couldn't have been more true. The battle between the heavily favored Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the Toronto Argonauts turned into one of the most dramatic upsets in CFL history, and it all came down to special teams. This wasn't just a game of offense and defense, it was a game of punts, field goals, and those moments in between where the game can be won or lost. Before we dive in, if you're into special teams analysis like this, make sure to hit the like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow and it ensures you don't miss future breakdowns. Let's get into it. Right from the start, the Argos showed just how much of a weapon their special teams unit could be. Janarian Grant's ability to flip to the opposite side of the field on this punt return set Toronto up near midfield, a perfect position to get their offense rolling. And it didn't take long to capitalize. Lirim Hajrullahu drilled the first points of the game, giving Toronto an early 3-0 lead and setting the tone for his incredible performance to come. The Bombers answered back, taking the lead with a touchdown and a convert by Sergio Castillo, but special teams are more than just these routine plays. On the ensuing kickoff, Castillo's kick sailed out of bounds, a mistake that handed Toronto prime field position at their own 50-yard line. It's these small moments that start to tip the scales in a game like this. Luckily, the Bombers' defense held, forcing a quick punt. Field position was critical, and Lucky Whitehead, whose performance we'll dissect more later, managed a solid return to help Winnipeg maintain momentum. The Bombers would eventually score on a 20-yard field goal by Sergio Castillo to extend their lead 10-3. Late in the second quarter, Toronto faced their first real adversity when Daniel Adetoboye was pushed back into Lirim Hajrullahu on this 35-yard field goal attempt. Hajrullahu could be seen grabbing at his kicking leg's ankle and seemed to be in serious pain. He was limping to the sidelines, causing some concern for the kicking unit, but when his team needed him the most, he limped back out onto the field and nailed a 45-yard field goal with just seconds left in the half. It was a gutsy moment that helped Toronto close the gap 10-9. Special teams had kept the Argos in the fight. Toronto opened the second half with yet another strong special teams play, Janarian Grant's kickoff return to the 43-yard line. And while the offense couldn't capitalize, John Haggerty's monster 70-yard punt resulted in a rouge that tied the game 10-10. 2 uneventful drives later, and Haggerty is back on the field to punt the ball to Lucky Whitehead, who receives it on his own 10-yard line. Whitehead muffed the catch, the ball bouncing awkwardly off of his hands, and at that moment, Toronto's coverage unit smelled blood in the water. Fraser Sopik, the first man downfield, showcased textbook special teams hustle and awareness. He zeroed in on Whitehead, fighting through his block and keeping his eyes locked on the ball, and while Whitehead struggled to secure it, Sopik capitalized, delivering the hit that knocked the ball loose, and in the ensuing scramble, Jack Cassar displayed incredible situational awareness, diving on the ball and securing possession for the Argos. This wasn't just a turnover, it was a seismic shift in momentum. Winnipeg had been fighting to stay in this game, and this mistake put Toronto in striking distance for a touchdown. And moments later, the Argos converted that opportunity into 7 points with Lirim Hajrullahu nailing an extra point despite his injury. Late in the third quarter, the Bombers' defense had managed to stall the Argos' drive, meaning that John Haggerty was coming out for yet another punt. Winnipeg's Michael Ayers executed what seemed like a perfect punt block. He came off the edge, perfectly timed his movement, and crossed in front of Haggerty, deflecting the ball cleanly off his foot. It was textbook execution, the kind you show in film rooms to teach young players. And just when momentum seemed to shift, disaster struck. In the chaos of trying to recover the loose ball, Kyrie Wilson pushed over Toronto's Brian Harilamana, drawing a loose ball interference penalty. That wiped the block off the board entirely, handing Toronto a lifeline and a first down. In a game of inches, this was a mile. This sequence didn't just stall Winnipeg's momentum, it cost them a prime opportunity to flip the field and regain control of the game. Moments like this highlight how razor-thin the margin for error is on special teams. One great play, followed by one mistake, can swing the entire game. The Bombers never fully recovered from this play, and by the end of the fourth quarter, the Argos special teams had done enough to let their defense take over. Hajrullahu continued to fight through his injury, finishing the game perfect on all 8 of his kicking attempts. His 14-yard field goal capped off one of the gutsiest performances that you're going to see from any kicker. With under a minute left, Winnipeg's last hope came down to a Castillo onside kick, but Deshaun Brissett's recovery sealed the game and Toronto's Grey Cup victory. Special teams weren't just a part of the 111th Grey Cup, they were the story. From Lirim Hajrulahu's incredible injury-defying performance to Lucky Whitehead's struggles in the return game, these moments defined the outcome. They won the game for Toronto and lost it for Winnipeg, proving just how critical this phase of the game is in the CFL. It's not always just about the big kicks or the flashy returns. This time, it was all about the little moments that tipped the scales. A muffed punt, a clutch kick under pressure. Special teams didn't just contribute to this game, they defined it. So what do you think? Was this the most special teams focused Grey Cup in the modern era? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, and if you're into this type of content, hit like and subscribe for more special teams breakdowns. And hey, if you really want to help the channel grow, leave a comment and watch another one of my videos. I promise you're going to love it. Thanks for watching and have a great day.